What's up everyone? Today I bring you the first video of my AK Case Hardened series, and in today's video we will be going over blaze patterns. This will be a 4-part series with each video covering one of the distinctive looks that you can get on the Case Hardened AK, those being blue gems, blaze patterns, gold gems, and a few other distinctive looks that will be summed up in one video. Before we get into blaze pattern AKs, I would first like to go over the Case Hardened finish as a whole. The Case Hardened AK was released on August 14th of 2013 as a pink in the CSGO weapon case and is one of the oldest skins available in CS2. For those who are unfamiliar with this finish, here is the full pattern sheet that is used to create each and every single Case Hardened AK. All 1000 patterns use a different area of the sheet to create their own distinctive look, and what's interesting is that if you look closely, you can see all 1000 patterns on this sheet, as long as you know how to identify a specific pattern. For example, the number 1 blue gem pattern 661 is called the scar pattern because of the distinct scar that sits on the dust cover surrounded by blue, and you can actually see this exact scar on the pattern sheet located in this spot. This is what makes the Case Hardened finish so versatile and unique. Each pattern looks completely different from the next because they all use different parts of the pattern template, and this allows the AK to have some very unique looks that differ from one another significantly. Now that you know how each pattern is generated, we can dive into what Case Hardened blaze patterns are and which AKs have them. Blaze pattern AKs, otherwise known as galaxy pattern Case Hardens, are AKs that feature a full mix-up of yellow and blue and a ton of purple throughout the entire gun to give it that burning fire look or galaxy formation aesthetic depending on how you look at it. The main feature of blaze patterns is the large amount of purple that is created by yellow and blue mixing at different spots, and is also why blaze patterns are covered with yellow and blue throughout the entire skin. The great thing about this finish is that majority of blaze patterns will be standard market price, with only a few patterns being above market price, such as the number 1 blaze pattern 571 or pattern 323, which is also considered a tier 2 blue gem. One thing to note is that every AK shown in the video will display its pattern in the top right corner, and pricing was done through Buff163 since Western markets like CS Float and Skinport simply didn't have enough data for me to provide accurate pricing for each pattern. Now, let's go over some of the best blaze pattern IDs in the game. Pattern 118 is a great example of a blaze pattern AK. There is a very nice 50-50 mix-up of yellow and blue on the entire gun, which creates a really interesting burning pattern from the yellow and blue mixing and creating a ton of purple outlines that resemble burning flames. Now, the pattern itself is great, but what's even better is that the price to get an AK that looks like this is actually very reasonable. Factory new 118s come in at $450, $420 for minimal wear, and $380 in field tested. This is quite small overpay when it comes to Case Hardened AKs and having an amazing pattern as opposed to just an average one. Next, let's take a look at pattern 365, which is actually cheaper than the first blaze we just talked about. This pattern features a mag that's very blue with purple burning marks running up the mag, but the best feature of this pattern is the dust cover, which has a massive amount of purple on it and has a nearly full blue back as well. This blaze pattern comes in at around $430 for factory new, $400 for minimal wear, and $370 for field tested, which just goes to show that you don't need to overpay a massive amount to get a great pattern for your Case Hardened AK. While many blaze patterns are at market price, some patterns like pattern 323 are way more expensive because there are other factors contributing to the price. We will be discussing blue gem AKs in a separate video, but this specific pattern is considered a blaze as well as a tier 2 blue gem at the same time because of the massive amount of blue all over the AK. The blaze pattern on this gun is one of the best in my opinion, with the bottom part of the AK being full yellow and leaving purple and yellow burn marks that are accentuated by the whole dust cover of the AK being covered in blue. While this pattern is great, it will set you back $950 for field tested, $1360 for minimal wear, and a massive $1,500 for factory new. Now, there are way more blaze pattern IDs out there that I didn't mention, but the last pattern that I wanted to show is the number 1 blaze pattern, which is 571. An absolute beauty of a Case Hardened AK. Tons of blue and purple spread very cleanly throughout the whole top part, creating a very clean burning look. Great fire pattern on the mag, and a very blue dust cover is what makes this the best pattern of blaze AKs. Pricing wise, this is the most expensive blaze pattern AK, coming in at around $1,000 for field tested, $1,300 at minimal wear, and $1,600 for factory new. So, here's the basics to Case Hardened AKs and a few examples of what a blaze pattern is. Like I mentioned previously, there's way more patterns out there that are blazes. I just couldn't fit them all in one video since there's so many of them. The next video in the Case Hardened series will be covering gold gem AKs, and with that being said, have a wonderful day and peace out everyone.